Hi.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad.
What's the latest? Anything?
Oh my goodness, so much good. I hired
Yeah.
my first salesperson,
Oh
uh,
yeah.
which means he's filling my calendar up. So I need an account exec, and then I'll need a second SDR. So like it's good. It is none of it is bad. Got some cool add-on pieces coming in the next few weeks that we'll be announcing. So yeah, all good things.
That's
All good.
fun.
Yeah. How about you?
It's literally just one, it just it's a crazy time here. It's a very revolutionary time here. It's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, you're like running a million miles an hour too.
Yeah, just going everywhere. And
Yeah.
yeah, I enjoy it. I mean, it's like the days like you get here and next thing you know you're leaving. It's not these
Yes.
long sales days that you're just. So
I was just getting ready to say, do you have the ability to ping miles? Because I resent both of you all the things. So good, 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 good.
yeah.
Hello, hello.
Hi, guys and gals.
Hello. I'm going to tell you both Happy New Year. It seems really weird to say it now, but
Yeah, right.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, you
Happy
know
New Year
what?
to you as well.
You missed that boat. I'm not taking a happy new year. It's too
Fine,
late. It's
fine.
too
I don't
late.
wish you a Happy New Year then.
You can say happy end of January. I'll take
Happy,
that.
where did January go? How about that?
Yeah, I know it's so quick. Wow. It feels like I cannot believe it's still January. How much I've done in January, and I'm like, how are we still in this month?
Okay, I love your backdrop.
It's awesome.
Ooh.
Not
Oh,
mine. Mine is blurry.
Miles, I like yours because yours has like all the Kaseya products. So it's great.
I this is I just got this backdrop this week, and I like it.
Nice. Okay, so we have 4 minutes. We're pros, no big deal. Do you want to go top to bottom through your deck? Do you want me to throw questions at you? Do you want to go top to bottom through your deck and I throw questions as you go? Like however you want to work this is great.
I just real quick. I have a hard stop at 2:30,
Okay.
so I will just leave.
Okay,
Like I won't. So,
that's fine. No worries.
but Miles, you got this, and I'm here for any type of moral support.
Course. Yeah. I mean, you know what? Like, the report, we've been doing it for a couple years. This is reviewing 2023 and into 2024. Um, sorry, it's a little bit off center there. There we go.
Thank you. It was really bothering me.
It was bothering me when I saw it too.
It
Uh,
didn't bother me in the least.
Um, so yeah, I mean, it's just like here's a slide. And the only reason like why it's not an open chat, some people do like to look at these figures and see the numbers in their own brain. So that's why, I mean, normally with you guys, or with you, Jennifer, we'll talk and we kind of stay away from the slide decks, but these, because they are hard figures,
Yeah.
you know. So I mean, like we can just kind of bounce around and, you know, like look at the slides and kind of go from there.
And then
It's
banter that slide back and forth. Okay, I like it. Staying ahead of competition, revenue growth. Okay, keep going.
strategic
Okay,
priorities. That's for 2024.
nice. Okay, I want to talk about customer experience, so we'll hold that till we get there. Perfect.
And the big thing is we're just trying to get people to download the report. That's why we've got the QR code in every corner.
Yes.
So that, we're constantly just saying, download the report, download the report, download the report.
Do you have a URL?
Yeah, I can get us a URL.
Well, I was gonna say, or why don't I scan that QR code and I'll pull the URL?
Okay, perfect. Let's do that.
Because people are going to give you crap in the text in the chat. So I'll grab that. Somehow I'll get it to my laptop too. I mean, I have the actual report because I downloaded it and
You know what? You know what? Let me I can give me a second here. I can get one very quickly.
okay, perfect. Because it's a hefty link. I mean, it's probably just on the data page under resources, but
Yeah, I got it. Let me grab it.
that's fantastic. Otherwise, I'd have to email it to myself, and yeah, you know how that is.
Yeah. You know what? I'll just throw it straight in the chat.
That's fine. I'll share it again when you mention it, because if people are not on when it's shared in the chat, they won't see it. So I'll share it a couple of times. You'll see me share it a couple of times in the chat. So I love it. Cool.
Yeah, boom. It's in the chat.
Fantastic. I love it. And we'll go, Matt, I know you need to leave in 31 minutes.
Yeah,
I'll
no,
go till we're done. If we get done 3 or 4 minutes early, great. If
Okay.
not, we'll
We
stop.
we should be able to do this in 30 minutes for sure.
Yeah.
Perfect. I love it. All right, we'll wait for 1 minute. Don't be surprised if you see me muting and unmuting and coughing. I'm going to say this. I think I'm at the tail end of bronchitis. I hope. I have been sick since New Year's Eve, and I finally went to the doctor, and they're like, yeah, you have bronchitis. I'm like, oh, no wonder I felt really sick.
Well, I got my cough, so I'm going to be muting as well,
Okay.
on and off, but don't worry.
Perfect. All right, so I'm going to start the webinar. We'll give people like 2 or 3 minutes to pile in, and I'll announce
Setting for
that,
notice.
but then
Good.
we'll go live from there.
Yeah.
Then I'll have the 2 of you introduce each other. Matt, you skedaddle when you need to skedaddle,
Yep.
and I'll just chat. Perfect.
Okay.
And I am not seeing your full screen. I am.
There we go.
Never mind. Make me a liar. All right, here we go. I'm going to hit start.
Sure.
Hey everyone, welcome. You know the drill. We are going to wait just a minute or 2 to let people come in, let Zoom catch up with the flood of people that are joining us. I'm Jennifer Bleam. We are here with Miles Walker, Matt Sculley, and we're going to be talking about Datto's Global State of the MSP report. I looked at this about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago when it first came out, and then I looked at it again this morning, and we've got some cool things that are here now, some good opportunities. We've got some things that are coming in the year ahead. And Miles and Matt and I are going to be chatting about these, sharing some opportunities, some concerns and challenges, and just letting you know kind of where you benchmark in comparison to your peers. So we're going to wait 1 more minute and then we're going to get started. It's always this devil's advocate between, do we start right on time and honor the people that are on time, which is usually me, or do we wait an extra minute or 2? So we're going to wait like 1 more minute and then we're going to get started. So
Yeah, I have the same thing, and we're more external, Miles and I. In other words, we're outside of going to doing presentations, and there's always that self conversation that you have with yourself. That here are the people that got here like 10 minutes early, sometimes even 15 minutes early, and then you're like, okay, should we begin? And then you still have people at the reg desk, so it's like.
yes.
So you kind of got to like be entertaining, right? You still talk to them. I usually talk to them about the place that I went to the night before in the city, or what's the best burger in the city that I'm in.
Always get the intel on the best burger.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So let me just have the 2 of you introduce each other. Miles, let's start with you, and then we'll piggyback over to Matt, and then we'll just jump into the deck. And just for those that are watching, yes, there's a slide deck, but it's really just a guide. And so drop questions in the chat. I'm going to be jumping in, and I've got a couple of things that I'm going to nicely challenge. And then we're going to talk really about how you take this data, apply it to your MSP so that you can grow. So with that, Miles, take it away.
Of course, yeah. Miles Walker, Channel Development Manager here at Kaseya. We got all of our products right behind me here, which you guys nicely pointed out. Yeah, this is a great chat. Hopefully everybody takes away something from this presentation, because I know I did. I've been with the company now for 3 years. I started off with Graphis, which is our anti-phishing solution. So Graphis is kind of my baby, so to speak. I don't always tell this story, but I actually was born in a small fishing village in England, and my parents got me out of this small fishing village to take me to Canada because they didn't want me to become a fisherman. And now I get to travel around the world talking about fishing. So it's all come full circle, so to speak.
I love it. I have never heard you tell that story. So that's
I don't tell it. I tell it every so often.
That's awesome.
There you go.
And Matt, tell us,
And
I
Matt.
feel like you're kind of a known quantity as well.
Everybody knows
Miles
Matt.
is like, everybody knows you guys, but just in case there's one person who doesn't, introduce yourself, please.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I'm Matt Sculley. I have been in the channel since I turned 40 years old. So if you look at, I'm 49 right now. So that means I spent a good 25 years into the hospitality industry before I actually got into the channel. And now, as you said, I'm kind of a known person into the channel. That just goes to show you within 10 years, the opportunity that's right in front of us, right? And every single day, you know, there's something new, there's something changing. And there's a report that we're going to talk about today. I really do enjoy because it's different every single year from the year before. And you're absolutely able to see the different changes and the different needs and the different responses on typically what are the same questions. So excited to be here and excited to talk about this report. And of course, every time that I spend with you, Jennifer, and Miles is well spent to me. So I'm excited. So thank you.
Excellent.
And I gotta say, you're pulling off the old Mac look pretty good. The Steve Jobs. I like this.
Yeah,
I've never seen this before on you.
it's a Notre Dame sweatshirt. It's a Notre Dame sweatshirt. So
I
You
love
didn't go
it.
to Notre Dame though, did you?
no, but I'm a huge fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been to the Notre Dame Cathedral in Montreal and Paris, and
Oh wow.
pretty cool. I don't know if it's as cool as the university, but there you go.
Nice.
Good.
I love it. All right, so let's jump into the data. No pun intended, and let's just jump in and see what we've got going on.
All right. So this is what we're going to be talking about, the state of the MSP. So Matt, can you just give them a quick 30-second view of what this report is all about?
Yeah, it's so basically, I want to say it's around 1,500 MSPs that we go and we survey across the world. And we look for different trends, we look for different highlights, we look for different tips, tricks, what people are facing. It's obviously anonymous, so whatever you put on there, it's not going to come back and haunt you. But what we're able to do from this is take these results and apply them into our service delivery. And this has been going, I mean, I'm not sure, I want to say this is almost our 10th one that we've done, but I will tell you that these results matter. And when this is hot off the press, we see it when the public sees it, right? In other words, there's a marketing team that has it, and then we are granted it. So it's like it can never be leaked. But you know, one of the things that I really, really want to state about this is that this allows MSPs to sort of benchmark what their feelings are, what their thoughts are. You know, I mean, some days are good, some days are bad. But this basically lets you know and say, hey, we're all into this together. These are common concerns. These are common things that we are doing to scale, to grow. And it's a very, very informative report.
So let me ask a question, because that was one thing. I saw 1,500 MSPs, and then as I was flipping through, it was a PDF. I'm acting like it was a paper copy, but as I was reading it, some of the numbers surprised me. Some of the answers surprised me. So did you do a cross section? Were they Datto clients? Were they Datto customers? Were they Kaseya? Were they prospects and partners? Like, what was that data set like? Do you know? I know
it's all of our partners.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not Datto specific. Datto is a branch off the Kaseya tree, you know, and that joins the Graphist, that joins IT Glue, that joins, you know, all of our other ID agent, etc. So it's not a Datto specific report. Again, you know, we are, you know, as I said, it's one facet of the entire portfolio that we sell. And again, it wouldn't be, our service delivery is the same, whether you're in email security or whether you're in BCDR. So this is what we are looking for these specific trends.
Okay, good. So if you did a cross section across the Kaseya partner base, that's a pretty fair comparison to a cross section across the IT channel as a whole.
That's correct.
So that's what I wanted to know. Okay, perfect. Because obviously the devil's in the details. So I loved being the cybersecurity Sherpa. I loved seeing that cybersecurity continued to be a driver for the end user looking for new MSPs. So let's kind of dig into some of these concerns that MSPs have coming into the new year.
For sure. And here we are. I mean, like if we're talking about, you know, security concerns for MSPs in 2023, we're kind of doing a look back on 2023 and then obviously a look forward. So we got a little bit of, you know, what's gone on, where we're at and where we're going. And once again, attacks, whether it's computer viruses, phishing messages, endpoint threats, spyware, password compromisation, or hackers and predators. And the reason why, normally we do a talk and we don't actually show a slide deck, but so many of these figures are so worthwhile for the MSP community. That's why we're putting them up on the screen. I can talk, but you won't actually see, what these numbers are unless you put them up. And pretty much every other slide that we show, you can scan, that QR code to actually see the report. So I'd recommend doing that as well.
Yes, and I also dropped that link in the chat. So if you're just joining, I'll share that again throughout the rest of this training. So what I'm seeing is about 30% of MSPs are concerned about phishing and endpoint threats and password compromises and things like that. And then almost half of them are concerned about computer viruses. So do you have anything in here comparing the MSP concerns to the end user concerns? Like, are they aligned or are they not aligned?
They're never aligned. They never are aligned at all. One of the state of the channel, what is a different report, it usually averages where 86 to 90% of MSPs are concerned about ransomware, and it's usually around anywhere between 28 to 36% of the end users are concerned. That's scary. That's scary, and for a couple different reasons. One is the fact that we need to do a better job as a community educating end users about these threats that are out there, what to click on, what not to click on. I mean, when I'm looking at this slide right here, I see that only 28% of people are concerned about, MSPs are concerned about hackers and predators. But then you look at computer viruses, which is 48%. Well, computer viruses is actually a tool that the hackers and the predators are using on there. So I guess what my point is that the IT security is so complex, right? And we need MSPs to be able to speak to their end users about these different types of threats and understand where the relationships lie. Hackers don't, there's a sort of like this, the word I want to use is that they think that they're, well, not even so much disconnect, but they think that the hackers are, somewhere in Russia in a basement, and that's not necessarily the case. What you got to be concerned about is ransomware as a service, where, you can go to the dark web and get a ransomware kit. And what you do is you go and you hit your target on it, and then you got to give the hacker 40% of what you make on it.
And there's a guarantee, and there's customer service, and all of it's an industry.
Yeah, if you have an evil strain in you and you are desperate to make money or whatever the case may be, the hackers are making it easy for you to go out there and make quick money illegally, And so I will always preface any type of one of these webinars and say that we got to bridge the gap between the end users and the MSPs when it comes into security concerns.
Very
and just to jump on that, I mean, we're seeing mainstream media now as well push a lot of these messages. For example, the #1 movie last month in all of North America and 17 countries around the globe was the Julia Roberts movie that came out, and that was all about cyber attacks.
Yes.
I was actually at Vancouver Canucks hockey game last night, and Matt will love this. Matt's really creative in our team, and he always figures out ways to use these. And I kid you not, this actually came up on the screen 1 minute before the puck dropped. And it said, so all the TVs went black in the entire stadium and the big screen. And it said, artificial intelligence has taken over all rival cities. Players have been replaced by machines. Vancouver stands as humanity's last stronghold. We will be ready. So this is the kind of thing that would have never been shown in a hockey game in some random city in Canada 2 years ago. And now cyber attacks, this is something that people are talking about. And Matt mentioned there's this, disconnect, whatever you want to call it. And now the end users are starting to wake up and realize that these cyber attacks are here. These cyber crimes are here. They're coming to a store or a business near you, and they're not going to be going away anytime soon.
And so that's really, so MSPs are seeing that. Okay, so let's kind of do this year over year. They're all trending up as far as a concern. So that is good for the MSPs to be, I guess it's good that their concerns are growing. It does question, does that mean that they are not confident in their ability to mitigate a threat? Or are they concerned that the hackers are growing their skill set and tool set faster than the MSPs are growing their own skill sets and tool sets? And I know there was a stat, like maybe page 4-ish, that talked about MSPs being understaffed or underskilled when it comes to security concerns and things like that. So are you going to talk about that at all in a few slides, or do you want to park there for just a minute?
Well, let's park here for a minute. I mean, here, like let's think about this. Okay, if you're a end user and you have purchased what has been vetted by your MSP as protection, and then you get hit, okay, the first place that you're going to look at is going to be your MSP.
Sure.
Hey, you told me that, hey, if we purchase this, we installed this, if we paid for this, that we're going to be protected. And that is a concern, because what happens from there is that the MSP market has grown, I mean, by 10-folds in the past 10 years, that there will be other people that will go and say, you know what, you didn't protect me, I'm going to look elsewhere. As a matter of fact, there is about, I believe it was 19% of MSPs say a major concern of theirs is losing business to their competition.
Yes.
Well, if you go and you look at, okay, well, why are you going to lose the competition? If you're not doing your job correctly, right? If you're not setting expectations, if you're not improving the customer experience, these are different things that are on the forefront of MSP's mind. They know before, these guys were old break fix guys that went into the reoccurring, revenue, right? Now they've got to be on top of their game. And one of the things that they've got to do is they have to be able to go and vet the different vendors that they're sharing to their customers. And what I mean sharing is that MSPs should have all the security tools that they are selling. They should be in-house as well.
And just to jump on that, I mean, I know Matt's a huge NFL fan. I love my football. And if you watch a Super Bowl last year, there were actual advertisements, and I know those costs. I think, Matt, you'll probably remember the number. I'd say 2.3 million or something for a 30-second advert, or 1.8 million or something around that. And I think there was 4 cybersecurity ads last year of companies promoting their services. And what I'm getting at is that, when I started 3 years ago pushing a anti-phishing solution, most MSPs had heard of anti-phishing or phishing solutions, but none of the end user has. And now we have those end users coming to the MSP and saying, hey, do I need an anti-phishing solution? I saw something online, or I saw an ad on YouTube, or I saw that thing on the Super Bowl, that commercial, what's the deal with this? Is this something I need for my business? So now it's great that we're getting to a stage where some of the end users are getting smarter, and they're actually figuring out, hey, I need some of these solutions in place because I have seen it in mainstream.
Yeah. And awareness is huge, right? I mean, if you look at the traditional marketing funnel, there has to be awareness of the need for a solution when the salesperson is walking in the door. Otherwise, the salesperson has to create that awareness, which is a much harder process, much longer process. So,
hey, Miles, can you go to the previous slide?
Of course.
So my prediction is that next year you're going to see a lot more what they call smishing, right? The text messages that are where hackers are going to try to reach out. It doesn't take much to get somebody's cell phone. And, there is this sort of common feel that, hey, if somebody sends me a text, they know me, I know them,
yes.
And what's happened is the hackers are going to go and they're going to utilize that as a vehicle to go and infiltrate, the people's systems and get the end user victims to act accordingly.
Yes. Yeah.
So I predict next year when we talk that's going to be a big number.
Yeah, I totally
heard it here first.
Yeah.
So security is getting more complex, making hiring difficult. This is one of the stats that I really wanted to, handpick. So 43% of hiring skilled cybersecurity professionals as a barrier compared to 42%. So that's only slightly up. And 34% are experiencing insufficient training on new security threats for internal staff compared to 33%. So these are slightly up. Sculley, what do you have to say about that?
It's very simple, is that MSPs do not know where to go to get the proper training for their customers or for their specific shop. And you know what? That's our fault. Okay. We have in our Kaseya One, which is our dashboard, our platform there, where MSPs can go and they could select different solutions. but we have a Ritsum, right, which is basically an educational platform that we're very confident that you could take anyone off the street and you could put them through that training, and they would be very, very well equipped to go out there and sell and be educated on the do's and the don'ts in the cybersecurity world. We need to do a better job of letting our MSPs know that it's there and it should be utilized.
And really the line is always moving. That's the other thing, that this is a moving target, that even if you were 100% trained 6 months ago, 9 months ago, a year ago, this is not the kind of thing where you can just check that box and say, oh, we're good to go. And that sounds silly, but I do talk to MSPs who are like, yeah, we're good. And I'm like, not if you're not doing ongoing training like you encourage your clients to do. And it's the shoemaker's kids that don't have any shoes, but it's a big concern. So I'm glad that we parked there for a minute.
And just to jump on that, I mean, I moved over from a different industry 3 years ago, and I was coming over from the travel industry, and not a lot changed in the travel industry. Like, a lot of the systems stayed the same. And the one thing I've learned in this industry, especially working with MSPs, is everything's so fluid. So one thing that might work 6 months or a year ago might not work now. And that is something that I've had to completely change my thought process when, every day, like, Sculley will say to me, Miles, like, hey, I want you to learn about this because this is something that we're going to be dealing with, whether it's, a new form, a new style of attack, something that we haven't thought of. And, in a year, we're going to be talking about different things. And in certain industries, there's not a lot of change. It's like a slow growth like that. But in this industry, we could be talking about completely different stuff, completely different threats in the next year or two. And I mean, here's, good segue, the shift to the cloud and what that means for your business. And I'll let Sculley jump onto this one, but this one was pretty crazy because 47% of the North American respondents predict that 75 to 99% of their clients will move to the cloud workload in the next 3 years. It hasn't been as fast as we expected. We thought it was going to happen like this, and here we are, and we're still not seeing that transition because it's a lot to do, I guess you could say. Sculley?
Yeah, no, this number will increase next year. Without a doubt, it will definitely be higher because what we're going through is they call the digitalization era, right? Where we're basically taking all of our infrastructure and we're putting it up to the cloud. And we've seen it. We've seen it with Azure, obviously with our own cloud as well. And what's going to happen there is that is going to contribute to machine learning and AI, correct? Meaning in a sense that COs, CISOs, all those IOs, right, are going to be utilizing machine learning and AI to go and dissect their workload strategies. So that is going to happen where this number is going to get higher towards the cloud. Also, people are trusting the cloud more than they were in the past. I mean, think about it. If you were a business and you did everything by like a QuickBooks. Oh, I thought we got Zoom hacked. You were just coughing.
Sorry.
I don't need to get Zoom bombed here. But when I started at Datto in 2015, it was with this so many small rural areas in the South. And the hardest part wasn't necessarily getting them to talk about backup. Was actually going to the cloud. They didn't trust the cloud. Now they trust the cloud. And now what's happening is you're seeing a new breed of people saying, okay, we need to put our workload strategies into the cloud. And that's going to open us for more opportunities, as I said, specifically when it comes to machine learning and AI.
Well, and I think the whole concept of hybrid workforce or work from home, all of that, I think played a factor in people realizing perhaps they were using the cloud more than they realized, or, oh, the cloud isn't so bad. Look at the flexibility that it gives. And so perhaps that is one good thing that came out of the last several years, is that the cloud is now much more readily acceptable.
Yeah,
they're going back to work. I mean, they're going to be going back to work. I mean, as far as in the brick and mortar, I do see that happening. In other words, hey, we were able to get through this very, very uncharted time, in our lives by being, not even hybrid, but by working from home, or actually, I think the term now is work for anywhere, right? And what I think you're seeing is these major corporations that are saying, even Kaseya would be one of them, right? That's saying, no, we don't want you to work from home. You need to work from an office. I could tell you, and again, I'm probably going to get chastised for this, but I report to the office. There's My boss sits 5 feet away from me. I am able to have, one-off conversations with him. I'm able to pop into his office on different types of direction that I need. It does make a difference being in the office, from a learning standpoint as well as a collaboration. One of the things that you're able to see is that, you'll have two guys that are going for a job, and one says, okay, you know what, I'll give you $90,000, but you got to report to an office. And the other one will say, hey, we'll give you $80,000, but you don't have to report to the office. And then all of a sudden, okay, the guy goes and says, I'll take the $80,000 for I don't have to report to the office. And you ask yourself, is that what you really want in an employee? Especially a younger employee that needs to be around a common thinking environment and on it. So I think what you're going to see is that we did it, and it's not going to be necessarily a hybrid, but I predict in the next couple of years it's going to be 70-30.
Interesting.
Maybe
Okay.
80-20.
And jumping into the competitive and revenue growth landscape, this one's pretty interesting that this is something that MSPs didn't really have to deal with 10 years ago. I mean, 35% of the respondents stated competition was their biggest challenge compared to 29% last year. And this number is going up. We're seeing that the last couple of years. And what that means is that an MSP who used to be in, Sculley's town, which is Norwalk, Connecticut, right? They maybe had 3, 4, 5 competitors. Now they might have competitors in New Jersey or New York or the next state. And that wasn't a thing, because it used to be, we were a local business. We dealt with local companies and local business people. And now, you know what? Competition is something that all MSPs have to worry about, because, you can't get complacent these days. And that's a number that is continuing to go up.
That's fascinating to me, because when I saw that stat, I immediately thought the number of MSPs was growing, which I think it, depending on your area, could be. But you make a very valid point. And so my marketing spidey sense is tingling, because that means that if you are an MSP and you're still marketing in your same geography, you're missing the boat, because there is a bigger community that you can serve. And that stat says that. So that's fantastic. I love that.
And I mean, just to jump on that before we go to the next slide, because I want to be cognizant of time. What I'm seeing a lot, and probably Sculley's seeing as well, when we're at the shows, I see a lot of people who are an MSP and have one client. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty crazy. They're putting all their eggs in one basket. But what happened is they were maybe a family friend or a friend, and they were working with the business. And then the business grew. So they were kind of like the internal IT person. And now they've realized that they've got enough solutions in place, maybe some of ours, maybe some of our competitors, but that they can, automate a lot of their tasks. So they're actually looking to get new business on board, because they used to just deal with that one business. That was it. And now things are changing.
Interesting.
All right, Sculley, I'll let you take strategic priorities for 2024. So this is the top MSP strategies, strategic priorities in 2024. You want to dive into these?
Yeah, I mean, I think it all goes back. See, what I like about this report is, and it's no pun of integration, because we are an integration company, right? Where our products speak to each other. But we will say something like, 19% of MSPs are concerned about losing their business. Well, then 47% priority is to improve the customer experience. There's a correlation there. If you improve the customer experience, you don't have to worry about losing your business, right? Growing their business, 42% improving their technology solutions meet their unique needs. Well, I look at a stat like that, and I say to myself, okay, what about the internal IT departments that are out there? Okay, there's a lot more internal IT departments on staff than there are MSPs. Okay, believe it or not. All right, and I mean it's quite a. I mean, it might be 30 to 70%. I mean, like it's big, right? But with your internal IT department, you don't have the skill sets or the bandwidth to go to different shows or attend webinars like this, where you could brush up on the latest and the greatest that's out there, right? So I think that there's a major opportunity for MSPs to go to internal IT departments and do what they call a co-managed situation. And how do you do that? You identify the top different companies that are in your area. You invite them over to your conference room, get Chick-fil-A, get Jersey Mike's, get whatever you want. Okay. But then highlight a menu of the different services that you're putting out there. Right. And then let them know and say, okay, where can we help you in this, as kind of work together. And those, as you see, as clients get bigger, right? As they get bigger, that's where you're going to see more of those co-managed IT relationships. So yeah, I mean, it kind of just broadens all, goes all over the place, where one, if they're worried about losing business, well, one, they have to improve their customer experience. How do they do that? By identifying what their customers' needs are and then acting accordingly.
Love it. Awesome.
So we would try to keep it to 30 minutes. I think we've done it, which I like. There's way more information in the report as well. And I mean, I know, Jennifer, you've read it.
Yeah.
It probably takes 15 minutes or so, but there's so much stuff that you can use, to help your business. I mean, if you realize that customer experience is the most important thing, once again, 10 years ago, if you were an MSP working with a business, your customer experience didn't have to be that great. Now there's another company down the road that's competing. And you know what they're doing? They're doing events. They are throwing partner appreciations. So they're going to be looking to steal your business through different things, whether that's saving the company money, whether it's doing events, etc. And so nowadays competition is key. And, there's so much information in the report that you can get. So I would say, if you have time, scan that and have a read. And obviously, I put myself and Sculley's LinkedIn's connections. If you do have questions or you want to learn more, please do reach out.
I love it. And in case you're QR code averse, I also dropped the link to that report in the chat multiple times. So you should be able to see that. And I would just piggyback on what Miles just said. As you're going through this report, and it isn't going to take you particularly long, what you're looking for are strategic advantages. So if you see that 30% of your competitors are focused on customer experience and you are not, maybe that is a little bit of a wake-up call, because that means that if you are going into a competitive bidding situation with a prospect, or your clients are a little less than happy with you, there is a very good chance that 1 or 2 or 3 of your competitors in your area are focused on customer experience. So take to the web, find some easy ways to spruce up your customer experience, or make that an annual or a quarterly focus area where you're reading books, you're studying customer experience, you're figuring out. I've got a friend that says we deliver 7-star service because 5-star service is not good enough. Well, hello, how is that for a competitive advantage? So as you're looking at statistics, really look through the numbers and look for strategic ways to say, oh, I wasn't thinking about competitive advantages. I wasn't thinking about customer experience. I was simply focused on how crowded it is and how many competitors I have and how my competitors are crowding my space and trying to take my clients. And so that would be my advice to you if you're watching this, is to take a look at the report, download it, but then figure out how you can take these statistics and be the exception to them. So if only 30% are focused on something, maybe you should be in that 30%. And now you are a difference maker and a thought leader in your community. So such good stuff. Thank you for unpacking it. I know we barely scratched the surface, but I appreciate you going through and pulling out some of the gold for us, and then leaving a few nuggets behind for those who do take the time to download the report and view it. So Miles, Matt, thank you both for your time. I really appreciate it. And thank you everyone for coming. We'll catch you next time.
Appreciate
Thanks,
you,
everyone.
Jen. Thank you.
Take care.